welcome to another episode of the Quotes and Mirrors podcast. I am Tyrell James, and if you notice, Uncommonterry's not here. I got some other folks. What I've done is I've gone and assembled the Avengers for this episode. So, starting up at the top, no, we're going to start with the ladies first. Lonnie Vega here
Hello.
representing not only Vega Entertainment, but also Relic Media.
Yes. Surprise, surprise. Nobody knew.
And then we got Monty up there at the top.
Evening, everybody.
And then we have the the bull in the china shop. We got Gladiator. so just a little bit about everybody here before we get started. So Vega is a very good friend and now business partner as well. Monty is a very good friend, and we've caused some trouble together. And Gladiator, Gladiator is one of my best friends, and we caused some trouble together too.
all the time.
All the time. So but we so Uncommonterry, he couldn't make it tonight. He'll be back next week. He had to take care of some things. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. So tonight's quote is adversity doesn't build character, it reveals it. Now, I did this quote me and Uncommonterry actually did this quote about it's probably been almost 2 years now that we did this quote, but I wanted to revisit it. I wanted to revisit it for a couple of reasons. One, we have a different audience now. And this quote was one of my favorites. It was one of my favorites that we did. So I wanted to revisit it because of that. And also, sometimes I like to revisit things because I don't necessarily think the way that I did, years ago. So if I changed the way now, I still feel the same about this one. but
wow.
so I'm just saying that for future quotes, because you may start to see some things that we've done in the past, because I may not necessarily agree with what I with my stance before, but my stance on this one, I agree with it. Adversity does not build character, it reveals it. I used to hear all the time that adversity builds character, and I agreed with it initially until I heard this, and it said adversity doesn't build character, it reveals it. And I started thinking about that, and I started thinking, you know what? That makes sense, because I feel like you are who you are. And I feel like if you want to know who a person truly is, you either give them adversity or money, and the real them is going to start to come out.
Right.
So I'm gonna let y'all go from there. But that's my stance on this. Anybody can chime in.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's one caveat there. I think you should add to that if you choose. Because you can have as much adversity as you want, and if you choose to use it as a positive, then you will make something out of it, no matter what it is. Versus where if you choose not to, it's going to bury you for the rest of your life, and it's going to be a burden on your back, and a burden on your family, and a burden on your soul.
Oh, wow. Steep.
It was deep. Now,
Yeah.
when you say if you choose what?
If you choose to allow it to build your character. Anything that happens in your life, every quote unquote negative thing is just a thing. It's an it. You choose whether it's positive or negative. No matter how horrible it is, no matter how terrible it is at the moment, no matter how disgusting it is at the moment, but you choose how it impacts your life. And you choose what you build from that, take from that, glean from that, and what you build on from that.
Gotcha. Vega, how you feel about that?
Well, just because it's adversity doesn't mean you have to do something negative.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite quotes by Jay-Z is money and power don't change you. They just reveal who you really are, your true self.
Mm.
And I believe that because in hard times, depending on who you are as a person, like myself, I'm a hustler. So hard times means go hustle. Don't just lay there and take it. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I think it does reveal who you really are.
I totally agree. But in most cases, is it really that simple?
Well,
As we make it sound, in most cases, it's not, and I think that's where that saying came from the simple fact that in most cases, people reveal their true character, and it's usually negative because of the adverse situation, because of the situation, you know. And when we speak of adversity, it's usually a challenge. It's usually something that happens negatively, because when the grass is green, it's green.
Right.
You know, when the sun is up, it's up. But when it's not, you know, that's when it reveals your true character and how you respond to the situation. And usually, it's not a good response. And I think that's where that quote came from, because of the fact that it's not usually a good response. It's only a few of us, like Jay-Z, that can say, you know what I'm saying, what you just said,
Right.
you know, and look at it in that manner. But a lot of times when people are dealing, you know, they deal with it on emotions, and you know, when you're what's the word I'm looking for? When it's a negative situation, you usually respond, you know, your emotions are usually a negative response. You know what I mean? So it's I mean, that's easy to say, but it's usually hard for people to respond positively when there's something negative going on in their life. You know?
So this is what made me really start thinking about start really looking at this quote, and which made me take the stance that I took on it. I've known some guys that were on the streets. They were tough guys. I say that making air quotes, right? And they put on this show to try to make you think that they were something that they really weren't, right? And I saw through it. You know, I could see, I could tell that they weren't all that tough. But all they needed was a little bit of adversity. They needed something to so it could come out, right? So then they they went to jail trying to be tough guys, trying to be something that they weren't, right? They went to jail and the bitch came out. because
Oh wow.
because you are who you are. All they needed was a
Right.
little bit of adversity, and then they come home from jail, and it's like, don't come out here trying to be tough. We know that you're a bitch.
Right.
Well, you know, that scared straight program is a motherfucker. You know, that's different. That's on a whole different level. Very few of us make it home.
I think the other thing is nature teaches us that there is no growth without pain. You cannot grow as a being in this world without some adversity. If you have a moth that's trying to become a butterfly and you see it and you try to cut it out of its little cocoon, it's going to die because it won't get the fluid into its wings to stretch itself, because it has to go through that adversity.
Right.
Now, the problem is that adversity, you're right, it's easy to make an emotional response. But after you make the emotional response, you take 5 minutes and you kind of calm down and you say, okay, this is it. Like, it's either A or B. Where do we go from here? And I think that's where, if anything, a lot of people fail that piece. You know, where the emotion, it's real easy to get pissed off and run your mouth and start some bullshit and do some nonsense. But if you take 5 minutes and just center yourself, calm yourself, be yourself, and just allow yourself to flow and feel the flow, you'll realize what the actual choices are.
Now, in that case, I think that part comes from experience, though. First,
yeah. And
you know,
I would say experience, but also, like, that's where we have to mentor the youth. Where we have missed that piece in this culture. All the way around in America, it seems that we haven't nurtured you don't have to stick your hand on the stove to know that it's hot, but I did hear the burns. We don't do that anymore. And the other thing is when we try to do it, we either have an attitude or hubris, and then we either overanalyze it, over message it, or we dilute the message so much that the person isn't ready to receive it. And honestly, that's another piece is, are they ready to receive it? I can give you knowledge today that 6 months from now, you might go, oh, wow, I can't believe I didn't think of that. But today, right now, at this moment, you may not be able to digest that.
Yeah, I think what happens is in a situation like that, when you give the person the knowledge, you just planting seeds, and sometimes experience serves as the water to those seeds. So whether they get it 6 months from now or 6 years from now, they just have to start experiencing things, But you did your job. You planted the seeds. They just have to experience things in order for that tree to grow one day, for them to be like, I finally got it. I mean, think about like how many of the lessons that our parents tried to teach us when we were kids, and it didn't hit us until we were younger. I'm sorry, until we were older.
Yes, until we experienced certain things in life that maybe they did, and we just had to see for ourselves.
Right, exactly. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, I can't tell you how many times like I've been talking to my son about stuff, and then I'm like, yo, I sound like my mother.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So, hey, Vega, I like that shirt.
Well, thank you very much. Always branding.
Yeah,
what I do.
Yeah. I know.
Thank you.
I should.
I'll get you one.
I
Yes,
should be
branding is
under
everything.
branding here. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Branding is everything.
If
Yes.
you get it a medium or a schmedium, because he's got
always say medium. All right.
Yo, what's funny? Normally, when with me and Uncommonterry, we typically disagree on on what the quotes mean, and it seems like we all are in agreement here.
Oh, we should have brought a little bit more diversity.
Right.
Advocate if you want, but
well, go ahead.
I mean, you can give knowledge all you want, but if somebody doesn't choose to receive it and they're stupid, that's on them. Character is you say actually when we build character, it reveals itself, but does it reveal itself? Because if that person was too much of a quote unquote bitch in the first place, no matter how much adversity you give them, they're just going to roll more up into their nonsense. And it's funny because like you and I have a friend, and the friend is notorious for saying, I've got cancer, and that's just like your diabetes. Because to that person, that's all that cancer is just something else. To anybody else, it'd be the end of the world, and it would freak everybody out. But like you, diabetes, you take your shots, you don't eat your cookies, you live on with your life. It's all in what you choose to reveal yourself. But if you're a bitch, you're a bitch. So, I mean, that there isn't any amount of growth that can necessarily help that sometimes if you decide to be the victim.
That's true.
People really want to be the victim because it's easier.
Right.
So this friend that you're talking about that we have, are we talking about you?
I don't know that dude.
Okay.
He lives next to Cambridge. I don't know nothing about him.
I think that you are a perfect example though. And I mean, I know you don't mind me sharing your business here. But Monty does have cancer.
Okay.
And
all the cancer.
Yeah, all the cancer.
I would have it all and then some extra. If y'all need cancer, I got you.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm good. Like I got some tea over here, so I'm full. So I'm good. But I'm glad that you said that though, because I feel like this quote is perfect for who you are. So when Monty first told me that he had cancer, when was this? Probably about 4 years ago, something like that.
October 2020.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when Monty first came to me and told me that he had cancer, he was sitting there joking. Like he was like, and he came to me like, listen, this is a death sentence, but whatever. I'm going to enjoy my life. You
As you
know,
should.
he was faced with adversity, but Monty continued to be the same Monty the way that I met Monty is the same Monty that came and told me I have cancer.
Wow.
You know, and I think that that's just, it was just, I don't know, man. I'm sitting there all messed up because my friend is telling me he has cancer.
Mhm.
And he's pretty much telling me, don't act like a little bitch. Like,
Right.
Stop being a bitch about it.
exactly.
Like it could be worse. I could be dead right now. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
right.
Exactly. And it's like,
Right.
you ain't the one that got it, it's me. I got it.
Right.
You know? So, but I think Monty is, he is a true testament to this quote right here.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, we do build our difficulties into ourselves, and not just
Mhm.
medically, but culturally. You know,
I
and
like that.
good
Got to write it down.
conversations. I've been pulled over by the cops with guns in the car, with lots of guns in the car, and it was like, oh, it's Tuesday, it's okay, just make sure they're not loaded and go on about your business. Because I freaked out and was like, yep, here they are. Look in the trunk, check all the serial numbers, do whatever you want to do, and went way the other way with that.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, with our culture the way it is, the three of y'all can't do that. Like, you just can't, because you never know when bullshit's going to pop off. And that's the part that, if anything, as far as this quote goes, like that part, you can't change the culture.
Mhm.
Culturally, if I'm a kid and I grow up in the ghetto, I'm gonna fight. As soon as you mouth off, I'm gonna fight. Or you step on my sneakers, I'm gonna fight. Or you talk shit about my mom, I'm gonna fight, because you're conditioned to that. So how do you get past that? Because there isn't an amount of knowledge that I'm aware of that can take an average 18, 25-year-old man, female, whatever you want to be, and make you not react the way you've reacted all your life.
Mhm.
And then there just isn't an amount. There isn't an amount of training or teaching or talking that you can get through that.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know
Right.
that.
Hey, Gladiator, what happened with you when the cops pulled you over and you had guns in the car?
Again, experience.
Different outcome.
It had to happen several times for me to understand, for me to get. First of all, let me see. It had to happen several times for me to get it. For me to get. I'm kind of answering your question too, Monty.
Okay.
About the basically being a product of your environment. Basically, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So, experience, man. And you learn when you start to grow, you learn from those experiences, and you gotta, for yourself, step outside of that fishbowl and be the one from the outside looking in for once,
Mm-hmm.
in order to grow and in order to change and in order to think, differently from everybody else. So then you don't respond negatively like you were speaking of. You don't respond like that, because you look back and you say, damn, that was me at one point.
Yeah.
Same way I can answer your question, Tyrell, because it happened to me several times.
Yo, that sounds so weird. You calling me Terrell? That is so strange. But I'm like, who the hell is he talking to? Like,
The experience, it had to happen a couple of times, for me to get it and say, damn, what the hell? What the hell am I doing? Like, what am I doing wrong? And then doing some research within myself and figuring it out. And then making a change, making a difference then.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what you have to do. But you have to step outside of who you've been. first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and separate yourself from everyone else and all those situations that have caused certain types of adversity in your life negatively.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's you.
Yeah.
It's you. You're
So
the common denominator every time.
Yeah.
Just like you said, bring it on yourself.
Yeah.
You're the common denominator every time.
Mm-hmm. Vega, did you say something, Vega?
No, I was listening.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Unless you can hear my thoughts. The ADD been running somewhere else. But yeah.
and just stop playing the victim. Like he said, some people like that seat, like that victim seat.
Mm-hmm.
Once you stop playing the victim and start looking within and pointing at yourself, then you figure it out.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. We got a comment from Tanya. So Tanya says sometimes we never know what we are capable of without adversity. So I guess it could reveal some type of character. Like, are you going to fold?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I'm trying to understand this, but hold on. I don't know if this was a typo or not, Tanya. So I'm going to read it the way that you said it, but let me know if that was a typo. But it says, so I guess it could reveal some type of character, like are you going to fold, barbecue, or mildew? Without that adversity, we may not know what we're capable of. Oh no, so that is what she meant. Okay.
That
So
is true, yeah.
yeah, so some may feel it reveals character, but sometimes without adversity, some people may not even know what they are capable of. Hence, that particular adversity is building their character. She said,
Yeah.
I can always see different perspectives to everything.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
Mhm.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree too, wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. I I think that when I think that a lot of people, I think it sounded good to a lot of people to have to go through things and they say, you know what, I've been faced with this adversity. I'm going to come out a better person. I'm going to come out wiser and stronger or whatever. But I don't think that you come out wiser or stronger or a better person. I think that you were just faced with something that forced you to see who you really are. So now you just tapped into a different part of your personality. You tapped into a different part of who you are. But sometimes you have to be faced with something in order for you to realize that it's there, that it's inside of you. So let's take the person who is like scared to death of something, right? So if we're looking at courage, right? Courage doesn't mean that you're not scared. Courage means that you're
Right.
scared and you do it anyway,
Right.
right? So if you're faced with something that has you terrified, you don't know if you're going to be able to accomplish whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish without being faced with this thing, without being faced with that adversity or whatever, right? So then you get faced with that, and now you get to see, oh, I had it in me all along. You know, hold on. I think we got another comment. It said, so again, Italian said something out of your comfort zone may be seen as adversity or change. So I think that right there, that could take us somewhere else, something outside of your comfort zone, right? Because I mean, technically, actually, I don't know if that's taking us somewhere else anyway, because that's what adversity is. Adversity is something that is outside of your comfort zone, you know. But I think that there's a need for discomfort because discomfort is just a signal saying it's time to adjust, it's time to move.
And
It's
grow.
it's, it's like laying in bed. If you're uncomfortable, you just adjust. You just adjust until you get comfortable enough to achieve what it is you're trying to achieve, which is going to sleep, you know. So, but I think so. I think that adversity is necessary for growth.
Yeah.
So, what do
Yeah, I
y'all say
agree.
to that?
I agree.
And my wife works with early childhood special ed kids that are nonverbal. And
Mm-hmm.
she says every day they have to be 35% uncomfortable. Because if they're not 35% uncomfortable, they're not going to grow and they're not going to get better and they're not going to use their tablet, develop a skill, whatever the case may be. And I think that's right. And as we get older, we kind of forget that. We get very complacent and we get so caught up in life that we forget about being uncomfortable to grow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then we get to the end of our lives and we're like, well, what the hell was this all about?
Right.
All the opportunities I missed, all the drinks I missed, all the parties I missed, but also all the trips, all the vacations, all the random nonsense that you can just get into that you just miss out on.
Right. We got some we got a few comments. Oh gosh. All right, Kevin. I'll do this. So Kevin said, so this is actually from earlier when I was talking about the tough guys or whatever, but he said tough guys, that's that undercover bluff. And then he said, I need to be one of these. I'm not sure what you were responding to there. Then Monty, I'm sure he was talking to you for this one. He said 2 for $20 on tumors, no deals.
Yeah, right.
But
That's buy one, get one. I got
but then he said, I got pistol whipped and sent to jail.
Again, like I was walking down the street yesterday by 4 cops, did not get pistol whipped. What did you do to earn a pistol whipping? That would be the question I would ask Kevin. Because on a Friday, that shit don't happen in the neighborhood.
I was just getting ready to ask that.
Yeah, like
what the hell did you do to get pistol whipped?
Kevin, well, if you knew Kevin, you wouldn't even need to ask that question. Like this, you would understand. And then Wally B said a seed.
Hey, Wally B.
What's up, Wally? Wally said a seed grows through dirt. Adversity is needed for growth. That's actually what I just say. You know that. So me and him, we on the same page with that.
Yeah.
But he said a
from
seed
Wally.
grows through dirt. Adversity is needed for growth. I agree with that 100%, Wally. Yeah. What'd you say, Monty?
I said, why'd you steal that from Wally? You didn't say that. Come on. Leave Wally. Give Wally a win. Come on.
Hold up. So Uncommonterry's trying to get on. Hold on. I don't see
nice.
It took 3 of us to fill in for him, and he's back.
Right. Let's see. I just texted him and told him I don't see him. I would love to get his perspective on this. And let me see if we can. Oh, there you are. My bad. I just need to scroll down. There we go.
Hey.
You.
Yo. What's going on? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Clear.
Okay. I had to jump back. I was trying to look at the show, look at it as a fan. When you hit me, you said you're gonna do the show anyway. I was like, hold on a second. Did he just hit me with the one monkey don't stop no show? Am I the one monkey?
It make you feel better. I was his 3rd text, and he was like,
no.
Do something. I'm like, okay.
No, it's been pretty. I'm listening to it just a little bit because my son is still. I'm trying to get him down, and my wife is still sick. But I was like, yo, if I can get in here, let me get in here. So, but I didn't hear everybody's perspective yet.
We all agree. So come on in here and disagree.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all agree. Y'all agree with this text. So you agree that until you have a struggle, you don't have any strength. Is that what you're saying?
Ooh, good perspective.
Is that what you're telling me?
Well, that is literally weightlifting. So technically, yeah, that is 100% correct.
No,
until you have a struggle, you have no strength.
No, until you have a struggle, you don't realize the strength that you have.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me see. Until you have a struggle, you don't realize the strength that you have. And prior realization is necessary. Why?
Well, there is no prior realization.
Well, I'm saying, I mean, if you're making the point that until you have the struggle, you don't know that you had the strength, then prior realization or prior knowledge of that strength is got to be. What's the point in it? Is it useful somehow?
Well, it doesn't exist, so it can't be useful if you don't know that it exists.
But you said you don't know it, not that you don't have it.
Right. But if you don't know what you don't know. So you don't know that it's there, then you don't know that it exists. You don't know that you have it. See, I told y'all we disagree. I told y'all.
In regard to your prior realization, you're absolutely right. But you're realizing that you need to make a choice to try or not. And that's the first real realization is, do I even try? So as soon as you make that commitment, yes, I'm going to try, yes, I'm going to do whatever I can, then you are where you are. And if you fail, you fail. People fail all the time.
You know what? My bad. You know what? And let me back up just 1 second. I'm sorry. I did not say hello to Monty Vega Gladiator when I first came in. I just bust in this joint.
Yeah, you was like, how dare y'all try to take my spot?
Not at all. Not at all. I agree. I apologize. I did not greet and say hello to anybody, and that's my fault. That's my
Don't say hi to me either, jackass.
We understand it's the Jordan and Scotty show, and we're just Luke Longley and
no, not at all. Not at all. I apologize. I came in ego first.
That's funny.
Came in a little hot.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. My bad. I ain't mean to do that, so I apologize. But I do. You said you have to decide to try first.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you do that, so you just step out on faith. You're not talking about strength that you have.
Right.
You're not building on history. You're not building on nothing that you know about yourself. You're just saying.
Because sometimes you have to. Sometimes you don't really have a choice. And what's ironic about life is we can say we have a choice and we can think we have a choice, but when it comes to nut cutting time, there really isn't a choice. There's the way that's going to benefit you the most and the way that's not. And if there's a choice, that's the choice that you make. But you're going to try and do whatever you can to make your life better. Because that's human nature.
Then there would be no such thing as complacency if that was the case.
Well, if people choose to try, but they choose not to try. And that was kind of my point earlier, is people just sometimes choose not to try. It's easier to wallow in suffering and sadness and have excuses because, let's be honest, we're not all Michael Jordan. But can I go down to the court and play some hoops? Yes. Am I ever going to make the NBA? No. Am I going to do the best that I can while I'm there? But for the rest of the world, that's not good enough. For me, that might be. Because I just did the very best that I could. I suck. I'm not good at it. I'm 5'7". It's not for me. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to try my best.
How do you know that's your very best if you aren't challenged?
Well, that's when you compete and you learn that there's more that you can learn. And as soon as you learn that there's more you can learn, that's when you get better. That's when you try harder. That's when you say, okay, let me try this. Let me do this. Let me do this drill. Let me try this thing. And that's really what life is.
Playing golf, Monty. I'm doing my best. So you can stop being so hard on me with I'm playing golf, okay? I'm doing my best. All right?
What you do is not called playing golf.
Wow.
People would be sad. Like, let's be honest.
That's funny.
First of all, you don't know what I'm aiming at.
Oh,
y'all are aiming for that hole. I'm aiming for whatever I hit.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. He set us up. Don't do it.
I know. Okay. All right. I'll back out.
Don't go for it.
Hold on, though. So I got a question about the first half. I mean, because the first half of this statement, adversity doesn't build character. Can you say that as a truth by itself? Forget the second half. Adversity doesn't build character.
No, adversity does build character.
Hold on a second. I thought you agreed with life.
But when you break it down like that,
I mean, you know.
What's the definition of adversity first, though?
All right, I got you.
And this is an actual definition, not my truth.
No,
I think
actual definition.
This is the actual definition. So, adversity is difficulties or misfortune.
There you have it.
Wow, that was pretty general. Okay.
Yeah, that's all they hit there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, but so I still have to pose the question. So already Vega done scooted a little closer to me. All right.
Y'all can fight. I'm cool with it.
so let me ask you, T, for that just that statement alone, would you say, are you saying that adversity does not build character?
Yes, I am saying adversity does not build character.
Wow.
And I would,
Because it reveals it. You don't get a chance. You know what? Let me tell you something, okay? Because see, you took away the second part of that. Yeah, well, let's sit up then. So you took away the second part of that to spin the narrative in your direction. And
But if it was by itself, it would be true.
even if it's by itself, because here's the thing, it does not end there.
Right.
For me, it doesn't end there. There's more to the story, and that's why I can say no. Adversity does not build character.
Okay, so just across the board, period. There's no conditions here. There's no in some instances it will, in some instances it won't. It just bottom line does not build character. Period.
Nope. We about to see who you really are. You are who you are, and we about to see who you. As soon as you get faced with adversity, we gonna see who you really are.
Okay, so
Yeah.
change is impossible.
Look, Vega. I heard it. She's scooted a little bit closer to me.
Hold on. So change is impossible.
No.
Well, wait, hold on a second.
You said
If I
change is
already got
impossible?
everything, right?
Mhm.
I already got it all. Period.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I can't change who I am. That's what you're saying.
No, but you can tap into a different part of who you are.
Different. So different, but not change.
No, you can change to a different part of who you are.
Well, I'm just really dealing with the words here because a separate part means another part of the same, but different is change, homie.
Yeah, a different part of who you are.
But then I would have that's change. That's change.
Yeah, exactly. It is. It's change.
I'm sorry. I can't believe 100% that I am that everything that I'm ever going to be is already here. There's some things that I'm gonna go through there's things that I've gone through that have made me better. That I just was like, nah, this is not who I am. Can't do it. Won't happen. You know what I mean? And so, go ahead. I see you.
I would have put a caveat on that. Adversity doesn't build character unless you choose for it to. The sculptor Michelangelo said that the sculpture of David was always in the rock. He just cleared out the pebbles around the rock. And realistically, and not to counter Tyrell's point, but there are three things that will fundamentally change a human being: belief in a God, birth of a child, and a near-death experience. So if you have any one of those three, regardless of what your adversity level, quote unquote, is, you may fundamentally change how you view the world and everything around you.
I like this guy.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan. Now I do now because the quote that she was talking. Who was it? The sculptor that said that the David was always in the rock.
I believe it was Michelangelo.
So my only question with that is, if David was always in the rock, but as long as it was in Michelangelo's hands, because in my hands, David wasn't gonna come out of that rock.
Oh, is the sculptor, which is you, your chi, your emotions, your inner self, sculpts the you who you become. And there are pieces where you can look at your life right now and think about your life when you were 20 years old and think, damn, if I had done X, Y, and Z, my life could have been different because of A and B. But those were choices at the time that either weren't important, cost too much. For whatever reason, you chose not to make those choices. And now you are who you are. And that doesn't devalue who you could have been, but who you are is who you are.
Okay.
I think so. Look at it like this: you have a tree, right? I'm thinking about this based off of what Wally said. I want to go back to Wally's. What
Wally
one of the
B.
no, he's one of the he's one of the people watching the he commented.
Okay.
That's my artist.
Gladiator too
Hey,
quiet, by the way.
hey,
Gladiator is too quiet.
I'm always gonna plug.
Hey,
Shamelessly
Terry.
plug.
I think he's cooking. He's too quiet right now.
Talking about Gladiator.
Yeah.
Well, he's hot. There's some shenanigans getting ready to pop off over there. I can't wait.
But what Wally said, a seed grows through dirt. Adversity is needed for growth. Okay, check this out. So you plant a seed, right? A tree starts to grow. And you're watching the growth. It's changing. But it's still a tree. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But it's still a tree. It still is what it is.
Yeah, it was planted as a tree.
But different stages of what it is.
Exactly. It's different stages.
But it was planted as a tree. It was planted as a tree. That's it's gonna be a tree. That was the whole purpose of the tree. You're not gonna plant an orange tree and coax it into sprouting lemons. It's not gonna happen. You know what I mean? Because it was planted for the purpose of it being a tree. So that's why I can't really like that example.
That example, plain and simple.
Yeah.
Put it out there. Just put it out there.
Yeah.
Think another one. Think of another one.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. I got something. Hey, Terry, you about to get a kick out of this. Josh just said, notice how our cousin Josh. He said, notice how he said belief in God, not God, just belief in God. Then he said, any positive changes that happen through adversity happen because of you. There's no God that's going to save you.
Tell Josh this is not his podcast.
And the funny thing is, if the babies wasn't sick, if Mercy and his wife weren't sick, he would have been on this podcast.
Yo, hold on. Mercy and Tiara sick?
Yeah, they sick.
He did it.
Josh did it.
He did it.
Yeah, he did it. Because you know, sidebar, you know he had COVID.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And now, he ain't got it no more because he gave it to them. He ain't want it. So
but no, I mean,
he just said, I gave him COVID. He just said it.
Wow.
Well, Josh, you are not about to center yourself on this podcast, sir. Thank you very much. We are not about to talk about God and what belief it. Nope. Let's get back to how that tree was a poor example.
I still like my tree example.
Okay,
because but so when I was talking about the tree, I was responding to you talking about change. And I was saying that you witnessed the change of the tree, but it still is what it is.
Yeah, but you're talking about change in the way of growth. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so
adversity leads to growth.
I mean, it can. That's a definite. It can.
Okay.
But it's not going to the tree. Monty's saying something. I can't hear him.
I apologize, but if the soil is irradiated or rocky, or it's got too much lye in it, the tree ain't gonna grow for shit. So you can have all the tree you want and all the dirt you want, but if the dirt's not the kind of dirt that will cause it to grow, it ain't gonna grow. And then if it does grow, it's stunted, weak, and broken and twisted. So that's, I mean, okay.
Well, in that case, it's just a poor example of a tree. It's just a tree that didn't make, but it's still a tree nonetheless. So, but what I'm saying is, you're talking about change in the way of growth. It was planted for the purposes of being a tree. It's not going to make a change and now just be a flower, right? Because of adversity, that's not going to do it. So that's not a good example, to quote my brother Gladiator. Bad example. Plain
No, I think it's a perfect example when I respond to you talking about change.
But you're still talking about changing the way of growth. So it's gonna be a tree, small tree, big tree, medium-sized tree, whatever. It's still gonna be a tree. It's changing in its stages as it continues as a tree. But I'm talking about change, period. Like what Monty was talking about, and Josh refuses to talk about. When God changes you, then you can do a 180. You know what I mean? You can do a 180, and things that used to be instinctual are no longer instinctual. I choose not to curse, it was in me. I would just let the joints fly. It was in me. But in choosing to get closer to God, over time, it changes. And now what happens is I'm more aware if I'm profane, because it's not my intention to be so. You know what I'm saying? And so I change.
Yeah, but
and I'm no longer the same cat.
But it was always inside of you to stop cursing, is what I'm saying. Like, yeah, you were.
It wasn't cursing. Though.
Bullshit.
All right, this is going to be a little bit extreme, but I think you need Tyrell. So, if you're shot in the head with a 45, all that adversity ain't going to build no character, man. Like, the character building is over at that point. So, at some point, there can be too much adversity for there not to be any character building. So, you can't just say adversity doesn't build character. It reveals it. If there's so much adversity, then you can't. There's nothing left to build. You know
what was the first thing you said? You said what about a 45?
If you get shot in the head with a 45.
Oh,
okay. There ain't amount of adversity. I'm going to be a Jackson Pollock painting on the back of this wall, and that's going to be it for me because there's no coming back from that adversity. There is a situation. There can be much adversity, but you've got to choose if you've still got breath in your lungs and you still believe in a higher power. And if God gives you COVID or gives you cancer, you got to choose what you do with that.
Now, but hold on. If you get, Josh said exactly. You chose to stop cussing, not God. You. he's gonna keep doing that. So,
oh yeah. He's gonna keep doing it, and he's never gonna get me off my square.
but Monty, you I don't necessarily. Okay, I can see that as adversity, getting shot in the head.
That's extreme. Like that's
it's very extreme. So it's not like somebody's going to get shot in the head and then people are going to be like, "Oh, he's dealing with some adversity."
But here's but that was kind of my point earlier. If you've got diabetes and it's the worst thing in the entire world and you can't get over it, and there's not the gout. The gout is the worst thing ever, and there's never going to be anything worse than the gout. And you choose to make that adversity that you can't get over, then you'll never get over it. Or you can choose to get over it, get through it the best that you can. So some people, the level of adversity is subjective to that person. And that's something that we're not really adding into this equation. You know, your mom, your grandmom, it might be groceries, it might be the Social Security check, it might be whatever it is. But if that thing is so terrible and terrifying to them that they can't get past it, they're never going to grow from that.
Well, I think that's revealing who they are.
Right.
If they can't grow from it, then they have always been somebody that just does not respond well to that level of adversity.
So let me ask the question. When do you decide that that's just who the person is?
When they get faced with adversity and we see who they are.
No. But if it's in them, right? I mean, if they still here, they haven't taken themselves out, whatever the case. When do you decide, you know what? This is just who you are. There's nothing we can do about that. That's just who you are.
When they show us.
Huh?
When they show us.
But I'm saying, and how do you, I guess, decide exactly? Because it could take that. It could take that to have a person be like, you know what? Forget this cat. What he not going to do is make the decision about who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying that was just always there. That fight there was just always there. It just needed to be triggered, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't. You can't develop that. It doesn't come. It just has to be uncovered or whatever the case.
Yep. Sometimes you got to be. Listen, I may look at a way. Yo, check this out. One time I was in the studio with Gladiator, right? I walked into the booth. I don't know why Gladiator had his weights in the booth. Gladiator, why did you have your weights in the booth? But it was just a dumbbell, right? And it was 75 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yo, why is he just curling 75 pounds? Like this is a lot of weight, yo. And that was probably light for him. Like, why are you just curling 75 pounds? Right. So I look at this and it's in my way.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm faced with, hey, Gladiator, I'm gonna need you to move this thing because this thing is heavy, right? Because in my mind, I don't know if I can move this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm faced with this. This is adversity because I need to rap, right? And I have a 75-pound weight in front of me. And then something said, yo, just try to move it. You're 75 pounds, you can do it. Now, if I was to walk by at any other moment, if there's a 75-pound weight in front of me, I'm walking around it because there's no need for me to even have to deal with this weight, right? But at this moment, I have to deal with this weight because I don't feel like asking a grown man to come move this weight for me. Okay? So I decided to grab this weight and risk a herniated disc. And get this weight out of my way, and that's what I did. But I didn't realize that I had that inside of me until I was faced with it. So I did it.
All right, so a fat man that becomes a fit man, but then becomes a fat man and becomes a fit man and moves in this cycle. Which one is he? A man of discipline or not?
Yes.
I like that. Yes. Yes.
That's it. Just yes.
Yeah, because whatever he is at that moment is what he is. So yes. So the answer is yes. Whatever he is what he is.
Whatever he is, so he just so whatever he is at that moment. That's it. He's yo.
So you're saying he's fluid, and that's it. From moment to moment to hour to month to month to year to year.
Exactly. He's flexible. That's what he is.
He has an off season.
I mean, Tuesdays are personal.
Yo,
so
I'm one of them guys.
I think the prime example is my son. I did not so y'all don't know. So my youngest son has Down syndrome, right? And so when you become a parent to a special needs child, your first thought is thinking how patient you have to be with this child. But my son, when we have a conversation, he has the whole conversation. He knows what he's saying and he knows what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. He's only about 20% verbal, so I know what I'm saying. And I'm trying to figure out what he's saying. So who has to be patient with who? He has to be patient with
you,
me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had no idea of the humility that I had to develop until I came into until this situation, the adversity being having to tend to raise my son, having to learn what it is to love him in the midst of this, set aside my ego and this is not who I am, who I've always been. It was not until his birth, his presence, that I developed who I am now as his father, that I developed the humility, that I acknowledge or that I see the danger of co-parenting with my ego. If that, nah, it would that wasn't already there. That wasn't already there. And so,
I
and
disagree.
I mean,
so then you agree with Tyrell then?
Huh?
So then you agree with Tyrell?
No. I agree. No, because I don't believe that it revealed it. I believe I had to develop it.
Which revealed it. Which revealed it. Yeah, you had to develop it, and that's what revealed it.
Good point.
So you agree with Tyrell. Whether you know it or not, you agree with Tyrell.
No, I don't.
Look at Tyrell's face. Look at Tyrell's face.
So the question then,
bro, you just said it. You don't even realize what you just said.
Down syndrome. Would you have developed that skill set?
Say it again.
If you didn't have a child with Down syndrome, would you have developed on your own through your natural progressions that skill set?
No, I don't believe that would. No.
Yeah. So the adversity of the diagnosis, of all of the fear, of everything that goes along with the diagnosis, of the how do we have to make accommodations, how do we take care, how do we, all of that adversity caused you to have to kind of level up and build a whole new character set for yourself that you would not.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It didn't reveal it. It didn't uncover something that was already there.
You built it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you built it.
You ever heard somebody do something and they're like, damn, I didn't know I had it in me.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You just didn't know you had it in you, but you had it in you. Because the thing is this, you can't be, Lonnie, you quoted Jay-Z earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a Jay-Z line for everything. It's only so long fake thugs can pretend. You have to be who you are. So whatever the situation is, you're going to be faced with something where you're going to have to be who you are. You're going to have to tap into those different parts of your personality. You're going to tap into those different parts of who you are to adjust to whatever the situation is. But it's already inside of you. It's already there. You didn't need to acquire anything. You may have needed to experience things in order for it to come out.
It's semantics right now. Experience versus acquire. Whatever. I'm sorry. It wasn't there.
It was there.
It was there.
Nah.
It was there, and you revealed it probably before in a whole nother situation, and you didn't realize it. It's always been there.
Nah, I have to.
You're a married man. You're a married man, right?
Incredibly.
She humbled the shit out of you, and you.
No.
Hold on. Just like that kid did, just like your child did.
Nah, that's a different lane.
It's not.
It is.
It's really not. It's really not, bro.
It is, because I'm not her father. I'm not her father.
Definitely.
I'm not her parent.
It's
no.
Different.
That's a completely different lane.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I tell you what, the fact that I know that it's a different lane is why I am incredibly married and will stay incredibly married.
And it takes some humbling for you to even say that.
Yeah, but not the same humility. That's why it's a different lane. It's a completely different lane. Me, because trust the ego. Oh my God, the ego from I was a father for 12 years before I was a husband. There was a whole nother situation with me being as a father. Whole nother situation.
Does the definition of humility change because of the situation?
Did the definition of humility change?
Does the definition of humility change according to the situation?
Absolutely not. No, but having a red car and having a red shirt is not the same thing just because they red.
I've been divorced twice. I mean, hell, you can get rid of a chick. You can get a car, a house, and half my money. Just promise to never come back again. That kid's back. There ain't no get back on that, Jack. All right. Every other Saturday, every other Friday, every other week, you're gonna need to figure it out. So it's a whole different look. I mean, it cost a couple $100,000, but it was worth it. On the other hand, you get rid of the kid. You can't.
And I mean, I even give you this. I even give you that there maybe are core building blocks that will allow you to develop in other areas that are there. But the actual, building, I don't believe that I am, as I sit here, everything that I ever will be, and I cannot develop further. I'm not going. I don't believe that.
All right, I wanna get through the rest of these comments because we are at an hour, so we can pretty much bring this to a close. And then we can all just agree that I'm right and Terry's wrong. So, so Wally B said, think of the movie Kill Bill. That adversity changed her character. I didn't see the movie.
I didn't see the movie either.
Yeah. So
and again, it was a near-death experience.
Oh.
And death experience is one of those three things that will absolutely change your core.
Mm.
Yeah. And then Wally also said, I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. And I agree with that because there's always going to be change and maturity and growth and wisdom and things like that. But I believe that you are who you are at your core. And there's certain things that are just inside of you. So even though I don't think the way I thought 10 years ago, the way that I think now, it was always there. I just needed 10 years worth of experience to make me understand what was inside of me for this moment right here. But it was always there. Josh said, I agree with Monty here. Not everything that doesn't kill you will make you stronger. There are some things that won't be able to kill you, but will objectively leave you weaker.
Mm.
Oh, we got a little. All right.
Josh also said, I guess he's talking about the guy that you were talking about, Terry, the fat man. So he said, Josh said he's a man of wavering discipline, and Wally said he is Mr. Incredible.
Hey, tell Josh that man is in James 1:8. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. He still got a Bible somewhere in the house.
So the joke here, so everybody knows, because Josh ain't gonna care if I tell him, because that's what this podcast is about, pretty much.
Right.
Because so Josh also has a podcast under Relic Media called Now That's Debatable. And they will debate anybody about anything. Okay. One of the things that they debate about a lot is the existence of God, which him and his co-host, they do not believe in God. They don't believe that God exists. So anymore. Right, anymore. So a lot of these jokes that we're making right now is about that. But yeah, so I think we can go ahead and bring this to a close now. I think that I'm actually Terry. I'm glad that you came. Huh?
I was gonna say, I think we should do a panel like this at least maybe. I mean, we can talk about it, but at least once a month. This is dope.
Yeah, it is dope.
Yeah, I like this. Yeah, I definitely like this. Yeah. And oh man, hey, thanks for cutting me off, making me forget what I was gonna say.
You're welcome.
You were gonna bring the show to a close.
What'd you say? Oh, thank you. Thank you. See, I needed somebody else that had ADHD to remind me of what else. Okay, thank you.
We always think alike.
Exactly.
Okay, Vega, please do not think like this.
His girlfriend, hey girl, let him be. Just let him be. I got one at home and it's a problem. Just trust me.
Wow.
So, but Terry, I am glad that you were able to come on here because I think that opposing viewpoint needed to be heard.
Okay.
You know, and
it was mad light. You needed some dark skin in here.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, so
that is hilarious.
Monty got uncomfortable for just a second.
I know. I'm used to being the only white guy. It's okay. Like,
Yeah, I was about to say, Monty, it's not uncomfortable at all.
talk to the police. I know a guy.
All.
Yeah.
What would you say, Monty?
I said, if you need somebody to talk to the police, or the bank, guy, problem. All right.
Good to know.
Okay. All right. So
So
I don't have the quote ready for next week because
I was about to ask you about that.
Yeah, I wasn't prepped on that. But I do need you to take a look at the other quotes for the book, by the way. Appreciate you.
I did. You didn't get my text?
No.
I told you that I read all of the quotes for your part of the book. Scroll up. Unless I text somebody else named Terry.
Oh no, you didn't. You didn't. I got it.
I know.
Sorry.
I know.
My bad.
So, but perfect segue into the book. Look, y'all, we got a book coming. We got a Quotes and Mirrors book coming where 25 original quotes from me, 25 original quotes from Uncommonterry, and along with those quotes is going to be a brief description of what we what we meant when we came up with these quotes. Yeah. So that book's going to be coming soon because it's done. We just gotta this book, it was so fast. Last week I hit him with the idea to do it. And he was like, you think it'll be done by Monday? It's like Monday. No, this was a week before last.
Yeah, week before last.
Yeah, he was like, how about Monday as a deadline? I was like, Monday, man, that's wait, because it was like on Thursday.
Yeah, it was Thursday.
Yeah. I was like, I ain't gonna be all the stuff I'm doing. I ain't got time to write this book and that. The book was done by Friday.
I mean, but real rap, because no, you got to tell the whole thing. Because see, you came off top by Friday,
right?
I already had quite a bit in the bag because I had anticipating doing a book of the same sort already. You know what I mean? So
I wasn't going to tell him that.
It's okay. It's okay. I don't mind not shining. I'm dark skinned. You know what I mean? So it's cool.
Oh my God.
No worries. But for real, I think this panel like this would be super dope.
Yeah,
I don't want to turn it into a 50-person Zoom call, but yeah, I mean, right what we had tonight, I think the diversity was in the opinion. I think it's pretty dope. So I think we should definitely do this going further. And yeah,
I like it.
It could be a show too.
You, Monty.
No, your audio keep going out.
Oh, I said it could be a good live show too if we knew a place that we could go. That we've had.
Well, hold on. So where is everybody? Because we could this could be straight up on the stage and bust boys and poets.
Yeah, I got a car.
I know that's right.
Too.
Well, I'm in Waldorf. I had to catch a flight.
Oh wow! Oh yeah.
And Vega really got to catch a flight.
Right.
Where you at?
But if you take care of my accommodations, I'll be there. I'm in Culpeper, Virginia. I'm on the other side of Fredericksburg.
Where's Vega at?
She said Culpeper.
I'm sorry, Paul.
Yeah, I'm in between Fredericksburg and Charlottesville, Virginia.
Oh wow! Yeah. Yikes! So Vega can't come. So.
Oh, yes, I can. Just pay for the hotel. Dang, I got kicked out the group.
Oh no, not at all. That's just jokes. But
no, I can come.
And by the way, I appreciate y'all. I apologize. I got to tend to my family first, and so my wife is feeling way under. My son was feeling super dope. So, but once I was able to put him down, and then when T hit me where he was doing a show anyway, I was like, cool. So I'm watching the show, and I'm like, wait a minute. If I can sit here and watch it. so I appreciate y'all not filling in, you know what I mean, but being mad, willing to, to come in with him, period. I don't consider that y'all filling in like I'm not saying I'm not replaceable. That's not what I'm saying. Don't mix that up. I'm saying I appreciate your presence, period, and I value it. You know what I mean? It added to the show tremendously.
Definitely.
You know what
That was very humbling. I'm not replaceable though.
That's because nobody wants to be a hoe.
Everybody
Oh,
keeps calling
goodness.
out sick on you. I don't know if it's that you're not replaceable, or if maybe, just maybe, you might want to rethink this career path that you've taken. Because all of a sudden everybody's sick and got COVID. It's magic COVID. The Tyrell COVID stream. Here it comes.
Oh, yeah, no
I
COVID.
don't have it. I've never had it.
But
Neither have I.
host with you does. Isn't that ironic?
Yo, the thing is, he's always had COVID. It just hasn't revealed itself.
Always been in
It always been. Don't worry about it. Well, yo,
Oh man,
let's go ahead and wrap
Hilarious.
up.
yeah.
yeah.
We didn't have a little too much fun. So, all right,
Yeah,
y'all.
no worries. But
So
I greatly appreciate it.
yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and end this. Yeah, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Monty, Vega, Gladiator, I appreciate y'all
Thanks
showing
for
up
having
for me.
me.
Terry,
Yes, sir.
thanks for you know.
Yeah, man. You know,
Yeah, I know it was a lot. I know you had to do some adjusting, but I'm glad that you kicked in the door, waving the 4-4, man. I appreciate
it's all worth it. It's all worth it.
it.
It's all worth it. So this was what number 30, 40? Are we on 40 something?
40. This was episode
All right,
40.
Episode 40. Quotes
Yep.
and merits. All right. Another one in the bank. I appreciate y'all again. Appreciate y'all watching. Everybody that commented except for Josh. I appreciate y'all. We look forward to next week. Word?
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I am a commentary.
And I am Tyrell, and that's Monty, and that's Vega, and that's Gladiator. And on that note, and I quote, peace out.
Peace.
Uh,
Yeah.